day to you all, and welcome to another episode of Wear Many Hats, the podcast totally dedicated to the FM and property world. Today we've got a fantastic guest who I actually know quite well. It's Paul Rowe. He is the Business Development Manager at Yardi. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Did you come from far today?
Midlands, from the Midlands, but a few things in my diary today. So Yardi keeping me busy.
So you were in London. That's good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you to come all the way from the Midlands.
Hey, this podcast gets a lot of listeners.
Good. Yes, it does. We're getting very popular. I'm looking forward to hear your story. Obviously, I know a little bit of it because I put you in a position when I was in my recruitment days.
You did indeed. So that's taken me on a journey, and a very enjoyable one at that.
Lovely.
So yeah, thank you.
So let's get started. Let's rewind a bit. Where did it all start for you?
Goodness me. So it's 20 years this year that I entered the world of flexible workspace.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what a serviced office was back then. Very traditional space. It was serviced offices. It wasn't flex. It wasn't co-working in my eyes. But I got a call from a recruiter. Not as good as you were.
Oh, thank you.
No. I got a call from a recruiter, and they said, we've got a job you'd be interested in. I just come back from kind of a gap year in Australia, and they said, how would you fancy being an office broker?
Okay.
I had no idea what that meant, but it sounded pretty important. And I said, yeah, let's send me for the interview. So I drove over to an old mill out towards Tamworth in the Midlands, and I met Jim Venables and I think Chris Meredith at the time, from a company called Office Broker. Gave me the job, and then did a couple of years there of helping people find space. And really completely different in my eyes to kind of what it is now. Trying to sell in a serviced office, it was unfashionable. People, you had to really, the amount of conversations you had about his leasehold and his service, and actually here's the benefit. And this is why you might think you're paying more, but actually let's just go through a comparison chart.
Yeah.
Whereas other people were like, right, I want it now. And, dealt with some really cool companies. We Buy Any Car, found them countless offices, and they were at the beginning of their journey. And you look at how big they are now. And there was other ones along the way, but I was still a bit wet behind the ears, really, in terms of what I was doing. But you do a few deals, you interact with all the different providers, and you instantly think, actually, do you know what? This is quite buzzing sector. It's taken off. It was clearly already really mature, and I just didn't know it. But more and more people wanting flexibility. But then 2008 hit, crash, and kind of it became really, really tough, really tricky. But I joined, and then I got lucky actually because I did a big deal with them, and I joined United Business Centres, and they had a number of sites, and there's a couple of people there that were super important to me. So Kevin Winstanley, who interviewed me. Great guy to work for. John Bryce, who I dealt with, Jane and Rasmus.
Jane.
Yeah, some really good people. Some really people who've been around property and real estate for a long time. To bounce off and learn from, and that kind of was central sales and dealing with the inquiries, but more on the operator side. And then kind of felt like I'd outgrew that really, and wanted to sell some space. And started doing that for UBC, and then. They were full. I thought I wanted to have a bit of a change, and did a couple of years at IWG with Regis. And slightly different environment. Working for the big boys as opposed to perhaps more of a family sort of semi-corporate approach. But again, you learn a lot more. It's the kind of the KPIs, the lead to tour, the tour to deal. It's all those conversion things, and they just refine you as a salesperson. I look back now and think, actually, was it that enjoyable? I don't know. But did it kind of mold me and make me a better person? Yeah, absolutely. So, and then we spoke, and it was like, right, how do I get out of doing this? And I joined a Census, worked for them for 2.5 years. Andrew Debenham, Mike Guest, some great people to work for.
They really are,
great business, a lot of fun. But seeing it from another side, from a tech standpoint, so deal cycles were longer, more consultative. As much as they want you to close the deal overnight, and kind of found an area that I feel really comfortable in and really enjoy actually, because it was a lot around IT, a lot of kind of solving that problem or that and enabling that solution for operators, but it's high value deals.
Yeah.
Longer term.
Mm-hmm.
And just really good fun at the same time. Yeah. And then since then I've been for the last 5.5 years I've been with Yardi. So Yardi's for those who don't know is 10,000 people, a couple of £1 billion revenue every year, founded by Anna and Yardi, and I've kind of looked after and helped grow our Yardi Cube products, which services flexible workspace. So just a super cool project to be involved in. Yardi's across all forms of real estate, but I'm passionate from day one about flex. So they've really taken that on, and they're in it for the long term.
I feel like I got you on the show. I mean, you probably are one of the first business development managers that I've got on the show, but it is very much around flex. You've had a lot of dealings with flex, and obviously that's the property world. So did you always know that you were going to go on this sort of journey?
No.
Especially heading into flex, were you?
I think no is the answer. No, I never knew I was going to get to where I am now.
You know what you wanted to do, or what?
Quite honestly, I wanted to be a professional cricketer or do something in sport, and that was kind of the route I wanted to go down. But everyone has that dream. Everyone wants to be the next Messi in football or Ronaldo.
Yeah, of course.
That just doesn't happen. But I was kind of kicked out of the house and went, no, you won't. Bum around for that phrase, but
get a job.
Parents say go and get a job.
You kind of fell into it, really.
Yeah, absolutely. I just took the call, and I can't remember what I was doing that day, but it probably wasn't anything important. And then that's helped kind of mould and shape the first kind of 20 years of my career.
Goodness me.
Yeah.
It's so funny how it all goes and how it's all planned out for you, I think.
Yeah, I feel quite unique in a sense because I kind of worked on supplying it from a kind of broker point of view, then gone to operator side, and now you do the tech and kind of those are a lot more, just a lot longer term relationships is what it feels like, because your service is in there 24/7. They need the benefit of it. Clearly the industry, as I mentioned at the start, the kind of sector is massively evolving all the time. We're going through another wave of that now.
I know.
There's a lot of talk about that. And when your products and your services and software is in there, you're in the coalface every day, and you've got to constantly be talking to people. But
it's growing, I think, constantly evolving as well.
Yeah, evolving, super exciting. And think back now to when I wanted to be a cricketer, I actually can't think of what else I'd want to do if I ever moved away from flexible workspace. So probably be even greyer, even older. Yeah. And still be doing it.
Me too, somehow. I'll still be involved somehow. So is there anyone that sort of gave you a real push in your career? You mentioned a few names earlier, but is there anyone that you can think of?
Yeah, absolutely. Different people at different stages.
Apart from your parents.
Well, yeah. I mean, you never get a day off with them. But so Kevin Winstanley interviewed me at UBC. He was super important pre that. Chris Meredith, office broker. I mean, Chris is, again, someone who's still heavily involved in the industry doing his own thing now, which is great with Adapt. But those at the start, the kind of UBC people, as I mentioned, not just Kevin, but kind of Jane Erasmus. There was John Bryce, who kind of part owner of UBC, runs KWB. John is an absolutely top individual. Kind of, if John said do this, or John gave me advice, I'd do it. You knew he got to where he did because he made right decisions. So people like that, fantastic. And then kind of at the Census days, Andrew Debenham, Mike, I went all around the country. I picked Mike up at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we went on kind of road trips.
Love Mike. Nice guy.
Just super good guy. So I always think someone you can go with. You can go for a beer with someone. You know that they're a top person to work with as well. So,
definitely. Getting to know you on the personal level as well.
And that's great. And then obviously, kind of sort of under that, I kind of used Justin Harley as well. So Justin is my boss now at Yardi, top guy.
Yeah, he is.
He worked at Sensors with him, kind of used his product Sensor Charge and RJ Metis back in the day at United Business Sensors, and now kind of work with him and help grow kind of our flexible workspace offering and the Cube solution to customers with Yardi. So which is a super interesting time, because landlords are looking at how they can operate flex themselves. You've got traditional operator, you've got we were at an event the other day, and the focus was on managed space, and it's clearly more mature than perhaps some people are aware of. So those are the kind of the key people where I look back and go, actually, you've helped me in various different ways.
Career.
And
you've mentioned a few there helping me in mine. Justin Harley and lovely guys. Andrew Debenham obviously got on, because obviously I was recruited for these guys. So and I've known, it's so good to hear those names still.
And then again, I think that speaks volumes. I've been in it 20 years. Those people have been in it the same and even longer. And again, I think because they honestly think it's a fantastic sector to be in. It's incestuous, isn't it? People work for various different operators if they stay on the kind of provider side. You've got people who've done brokering for 25, 30 years. Look at Richard Smith, for example, Office Freedom. He's one of the first, whatever you want to
pioneers.
Pioneer, he's a pioneer.
Yeah, he is. He's been mentioned on a couple of podcasts around Flex.
So some really good people in there, and actually just some really nice, honest individuals.
So, yes, there is many. Try and get them all on the show as well. So watch this space. You'll probably see some of those names coming on. So what does a day in your world actually look like these days? Obviously, you're heavily involved with Flex and the property world. So
good question. So my job ultimately is to sell our Yardi Cube software or a module of Yardi and what we do. So to kind of summarize that really quickly, we provide property management accounting software to real estate, and that's across commercial, industrial, retail, and with that, that's the kind of the accounting piece acts as a base layer. So we serve multiple areas. So whether it's the Flex part, which I do with Cube, but it might actually be, and it goes really well with Flex actually, is the kind of facility management element of that as well. So it's kind of like we have a module which looks at kind of works orders and plan preventive maintenance, and you do your inspection checks. And obviously, if you're running a kind of a business centre, a service office, a flex space that's got loads of moves, adds, changes on a daily basis, you're probably going to do 1 or 2, maybe 3 inspections during a day, and it's that world that we dip into as well. And it's there's construction management, capex management, fit out. So I'm kind of going around and talking to operators, and that conversation over time has matured into actually talk to a lot more landlords about if we did a flex offering or we offered something within our strategy, what would that look like, and how does that fit in, or how does the Yardi ecosystem kind of fit into what we're trying to achieve? And ultimately, it's real-time data. People want an operational efficiency. It's trying to sell that solution into operators, really. So,
and this is where Yardi kind of fit in with the or what you do at Cube. It fits in with the sort of facility side of things, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Making life a little bit easier. For those that are in FM.
Yeah, 100%. So it's operational efficiency. Is all we hear about at the moment. How can we be more efficient? Our kind of net operating income. How can we increase that? And we genuinely believe, and I genuinely believe, kind of the five and a half years I've been here, that we seek to we solve that problem. Really, if you're trying to do things at scale and you're multi-site, or you own a large portfolio, then systems must drive that, and ultimately you're going to want data out, and whether that's from an operational level or whether that's to an investor level, that's the area where it's kind of our sweet spot. So going back to your original question, that is a conversation I have on a day-to-day basis. A lot of people now kind of step away from They're using tools like Power BI or sort of AI tools like Claude or OpenAI to ultimately bring data together or write really neat reports or dashboards. That's the conversation. That's the maturity of it now. It's not, do I just need IT and connectivity into my building? Do I need a workspace management tool? Do I need just a facility app on its own? Yes, you do. You need all those different things. But if they don't talk to each other, we're all having to employ somebody to
run it, work it all out.
To run it. And you go, oh, we've got a board report, we've got a board meeting in a month with our investors are going to be there. And you're having somebody spend 2 or 3 days working on that.
That's not ideal, is it?
It's not. At a time, in what's in a world which is quite a low margin sector, to employ maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 people, depending on your size, to do that. So it's taking people on that educational journey, right? It's not a 5-minute thing, but
definitely not.
But I think It's tough. It's tough out there. You talk to people, and I don't think demand has gone away for office space.
No,
certain areas like the city are coming back in London.
We're in labs. It's busy. Yeah. Today it is.
I just think there's more options available, and people are more readily aware of what's out there.
Whereas they didn't really know what service. I mean, I remember when I first was recruiting, you had to really explain what a business centre was or what a serviced office was. There wasn't even any co-working back then. It was just traditional office space with a receptionist and someone managing their IT, and desks are already, it's changed a lot. It's evolved, hasn't it? And it will constantly evolve as we adapt.
It will. I think at Yardi, I think Alan Yardi sort of genuinely believes that, and I kind of get his point massively, is that there will be some form of flexible space in every commercial building.
Yeah, I think so.
And that doesn't have to be like all the different amenities. It just means, will there at least be flexible? Will there be a service available? Will there be an offering of some kind?
It's fantastic, really. Yeah. We can utilise that space, which would probably have gone empty, or like traditional office space isn't as what it used to be, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. So exciting time.
It is. So let's talk challenges. What's testing you right now? Other than what you just sort of said.
I think markets are challenging for the reasons that I mentioned, because the kind of lots of supply and or oversupply for perhaps the demand in some areas, and because of that, deal cycles take a little bit longer. Perhaps people are more thorough, but perhaps a bit more cautious. Not thorough. Thorough is the wrong word, but perhaps a bit more cautious around pushing the button on a project.
Yeah.
There's some things going on in the world that we definitely don't need to get into. But they do have a knock-on effect about people's comfort in making decisions. And
long term, I think.
Cost of living is hard. I think I'm a big believer that we should come into the office and we should work from the office. Whether that's all the time, I don't know, and that's a different debate.
Yes.
But I think I mentioned that the city as an example is starting to pick up again as an area, and
definitely
that kind of drives the rest of it, really. I went to a talk the other day, and the president of Brookfield in the UK said, we need good transport systems ultimately, and kind of those areas where there's a network for people to get into.
It's expensive as well, though, and I think you're right. I mean, I work out of labs here, and obviously I come in every day of the week. Mondays and Fridays are dead in here. Like, there's nobody in here. So that means that hybrid model is still very, very attractive to people. In saying that, I personally work better from an office. I don't know whether I'm just old school, or whether, but I really need a human interaction. I can't just sit at a Teams. I can do it. I'm not saying that, but it's not my preference.
It's unpopular opinion amongst some, and I get it. But I think if everybody needs to have that interaction in person, because you get more done.
Yeah, I think so.
I see that is a challenge, actually, that some people want to just do a Teams meeting, but I genuinely think if we make the effort and we can sit in a room and talk about it, you look in the whites of each other's eyes, then business happens faster.
Absolutely.
A lot of say youngsters, I'm nearly 40, but a lot of people kind of in their kind of first, second job out of uni will go, I don't want to go to the office.
That's my son and my daughter. Not so much daughter so much. She has to be on set, but my son wanted hybrid because he was in A levels. He was COVID.
Yeah.
So they were already at home, and I think
that's the world people expect. Times move on, and I think we can't. Don't even want to talk about COVID anymore. When I get into a conversation with people, because I just think actually, I don't want us to go back to being the old school way of being 5 days a week for every single person. I really don't think that's necessary. But if you're still on a real educational journey at the early stage of your career, being sat next to somebody or overhearing a conversation, seeing someone's best practice.
It's how you learn, right?
You need that. That's core learning for me.
Absolutely, me too. And that's the only way I really learn.
Yeah, and I don't get that to blue in the face, but
we could.
Yeah,
but we agree.
Yeah,
we concur.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously you're in the industry, which is sort of pioneering sort of tech and but where do you think it's heading? The industry, we've got all the AI that you talk about, ESG, remote working, where do you think?
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think there are two parts to that. ESG is important. I think I'm probably very careful about the way I word it, but ESG was all we talked about. It was in every show.
Yeah.
1 out of 4, 1 out of 3 panels, you'd hear about ESG, or it would be the topic of the conversation. And we seem to have moved on from that. And now is AI. And AI, look, I'm a big believer in it. At Yardi, we're massively all in on it. I think I mentioned it earlier around kind of using kind of things like Claude or OpenAI or ChatGPT. And
I love it.
Kind of our own initiative is something called Virtuoso. It's going to be a part of your life, whether you choose to accept that or not. Whether AI is not going to take over the whole world. There's a sweeping statement here, not in my opinion.
Humans have to control it.
Yeah, absolutely. But will it make people more efficient? Absolutely.
I agree.
I mentioned about, I think, operators in my world in kind of flex, they need to be more operationally efficient. And I think AI will play a big part in that. And we're seeing we've now put that into our kind of cube software. That AI is now part of that, and there are other things to come. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah, which is great. So that's the future.
It is
really, and then how far forward we can look at that. We can make some sweeping statements or some predictions. I don't know, but my honest opinion is, if you're not on board with it, you need to try and be and embrace it as much as you can. I mean, I was pushed earlier. I'm very old fashioned when I search something on the internet, for example. I'll go, right, I need to find this out, and multiple tabs, when actually AI. It's just an educational piece that gets ChatGPT. Absolutely. Give yourself a starting point. So, that's where I think we're.
I love how it gets to know you as well. I mean, I'm just on the basic ChatGPT. I'm really I'm thinking about investing in getting this more premium software. Really? Okay. I think I'm going to, because I do use it a lot, and I ask it a lot of questions, and I tell you why, because it pulls from many sources, and it's pretty accurate. I can't remember who I had on the show. I think it might have been James Keesner from Riviera, and he said, which his show's coming out today, he said, I'm sure it was him, he said that ask ChatGPT what it knows about you because of all the information that you've been putting into it. It's quite creepy. I've done it. I'm like, oh, okay, it knows a lot about me. But yeah, I find it fascinating. Yeah. And so it's definitely a friend of Yardi's and yours then.
Yeah, 100%.
And we spoke about ESG, and it's the buzzword still, I think. What does it really mean to you and your work? Obviously, you're in the business development side. So speaking for Yardi, I guess, do you guys try and operate?
Yeah, there are initiatives, and we push that and support it. I think from my world, I must admit, personally, I try to stay on my own lane. But it's not something that I get directly involved in, I think.
But they want to hear it, don't they?
Yeah, people want to hear it. People want to hear your commitment to it.
Yes.
Which again, I'm not for a second, and I'm all on board with. But Yardi are really supportive of that journey as well. But no, it's still there. It's still going on. I don't want to do all of that area of disservice. I think, as I mentioned, when you kind of go to events and shows and panels and all those different things, the topic's now really
sustainability
and there's some sustainability in there, and ultimately both. But
and there's jobs there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people working within usually the larger corporations where they're actually concentrating on just that, which is good, because it means there's more jobs being created where we maybe not having so many jobs taken off the other end. That's what I mean. There's always something. I don't think we'll ever be completely machine driven ever. It'll evolve, won't it?
Yeah.
So you've mentioned about. You don't want to talk about COVID, and but do you think that the industry is innovating fast enough, or do you think we're still playing catch up? Obviously, you're in tech, so you guys are always at the forefront and pushing everything forward. So
we are Yardi across the board. I mean, from our 2.5 billion revenue every year, we put 20% of our revenue back into R&D. So things happen at pace and at scale. I've been a big believer that the sort of flexible workspace industry needs to wake up in terms of tech. And what I mean by that is, I think we spoke very briefly about it earlier in terms of, there's different systems here.
Yeah,
they're all disjointed. That doesn't create efficiency.
So to be more educated around it, and
I think so massively. But because without that, you can't scale at the pace you want to. You might think you do, but that's where our sector, I think, needs a bit of support, really. But we're starting to see it actually, because there are some multi-site people doing it. There are some kind of single site or perhaps smaller businesses that are all in on it from day one.
Brilliant,
which is great. I'm not going to kid anyone that I know that if you open your first building or first few buildings that you could use an Excel spreadsheet. Yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty certain you could, and you could use a small system. What really is frustrating to hear is when you talk to a kind of larger space, and they say that we're using this over here and this system completely over here, and I'm thinking, well, how integrate? Integrate.
Have them all talking to each other.
Integrate's a dangerous word for me, because people go, I've got an integration, this is this, and then there isn't actually an integration. There might be some form of pathway. It's great, but I think it's an overused term. I just think it's about it all boils down to data.
Yeah.
Ultimately, and if you can't get your data out of systems in a short space of time or in real time, then you're doing your business a disservice. So
you're the person to speak to.
I think so, but we've
got a lot of tech.
Small sales boat, but then I do. When I've seen it in operation and some of the things we've done for people, I kind of think, actually, you're right. So that's an educational piece for me in my career, actually.
So there's proof there. So you're the one to speak to if they want to chat about
always
how to move forwards. And they know where you are on LinkedIn, as I do. So, looking back, what sort of moment or project are you most proud of? I bet you've been involved in quite a few. I would have thought.
There's been a few. Worked with HSBC in kind of the office days of finding them swing space wherever it is, 400 or 500 people.
Wow.
In Birmingham. Which whilst they moved some of their team to Broad Street, they obviously had a space built there, but that was a big project, because for the first time in my career I got involved in the project management side of it. You saw a bit about facility. Yes. You saw it wasn't just here's X amount of desks and away you go. You're all on board with fit out and kind of all the things that I see today in terms of the software piece. That educational piece was fantastic. I've worked with some great operators. Oxford Innovation, Bootsy Workplace. There's multiple really, and multiple projects. I think when you in the tech side and perhaps the sales cycle can be slightly longer, you spend a lot of time getting to know the individuals and getting to understand their business, because you have to get into the core of actually what's driving their decision here, what's the compelling event. And in doing so, it's when you get to that point of the system going live after kind of the implementation process, it's hugely rewarding.
Yeah, quite humbling, isn't it, to get to people to where they
actually
need to be.
I've worked with a couple, and just go back to your question. I've worked with the likes of X and Y, and I remember being involved in their first site. And you look at the success they've got. They're now reputting the team there. Yeah. It's to see that kind of evolve and playing your part along the way is fantastic, and especially when you feel so passionately about the sector itself, to see everyone when everyone opens their first site and they go, I want to be 10, 20 sites tomorrow. But when people actually achieve it, and the likes of Space Made as well, who we support at Yardi, and we're delighted to be a partner with them.
I had Michael Donnan on the show,
and to see those guys having more ambition to grow and grow and grow, and they're doing it the way they are, and their buildings are fabulous.
Yes,
and knowing that we're playing a part in the background for them in terms of driving their efficiency. It's that kind of thing that I think actually that's why I'm in it.
It's rewarding.
Yeah,
and also I think. It's an achievement to be in the same industry, albeit you've done different roles within. But it is. I enjoy working within the flex industry, as you can see, because so many guests are from flex. But it is pleasant industry to work in. If anyone is wanting to get into the flexible work industry.
Yeah. I agree. It's a great starting point for somebody if they come out of uni or they go into their first job after school or college.
Yeah.
I think there's an initiative at the moment, and sadly I'm not in that demographic anymore, but future leaders of co-working is kind of under, I think it's for under 35s, and it's to support them, and it's a network for those people to kind of go on to achieve what they're doing in their current role or something more senior, or just kind of shape the future of the sector. And I think that's what
I never knew that.
No, and again, I kind of see that from a high level, from a kind of social media and a kind of engagement with people, but
that's a great initiative. And because this was my next, sort of question. I mean, what's something you wish you knew when you were starting out? I mean, it would have been nice to have known all that.
I think it's partly me, but I think now I've been able to get around more operators and be across the various different roles, and it's allowed me to see more of the sector. You speak to people, you get the advice. It's something like that I've just mentioned, actually, which, if you have the ability to come and meet your peers and talk about best practices and stuff, then especially if the focus was on people who are new to it, then I think that would have been hugely beneficial, actually. And probably to realise that actually some of these people are kind of director, founder, CEO level, they've all got challenges and they all want to hear from you. So if you think, I don't know how to start picking up the phone to that CEO or that managing director or whatever it may be, my advice to any youngster is to just do it and pick up the phone. Don't email them. Don't send a follow-up email. Don't send a LinkedIn. Just pick up the phone and find the right time and be very clear about what you want to say, because 9 times out of 10, people will engage with you and have a conversation, and that will drive things forward quicker than sending a "Hiya, I hope you're well." And CEOs get thousands of those kind of emails, so they don't want to read them.
No, of course.
Or they just get shielded by their PA. So
there you go.
It's that kind of thing that I think.
Be brave.
If I look back and go, 15 years ago I did that, then that's.
I used to have to pick up the phone. That was our only way, really, wasn't it? Yeah. We're both business development, so that was it.
My guest, forgive the phrase, but he used to say, we need to be kind of telephone terrorists and BT, kind of BT sales mindset of, right, that there's your list of people, call them. And if you can get people into that mindset, that the phone. Personally, it's my belief, but if a phone call achieves more than just a blanket email, then you're on the right path, in my opinion.
Don't be afraid to pick up the phone. Is your
absolutely.
That's it. Be brave. Yeah. So, if someone come to you tomorrow and saying, "I want to do what you do," what would you say to them?
I'd say get involved in it. I'd say jump at the chance, and I'd probably try and find a route that you could do it.
I think there's different ways now, isn't there? Yeah, not when I was younger.
Yeah. Again, I had no idea what a service office was, or office space, or co-working. I think youngsters are more aware.
Yes, I think so, because of the WeWorks and
the stories. The WeWorks, the social media.
Yeah, and they might have worked in some of these spaces as well.
Absolutely.
It has evolved.
Yeah.
Massively, especially the co-working side of stuff, because obviously you can just go into these beautiful offices for one day and sit and work with either like-minded individuals or, like you say, people that you can learn from. Get involved.
I think get involved, and I think maybe you'll go around it. Maybe you'll talk to somebody. You might talk to somebody from facilities, for example.
Yeah,
and they might go, actually, this is what we do, and if be curious.
Yeah.
So our vice president internationally is a chap called Neil Gamasma, great guy to learn from. And one of the things he always says at every sales conference is, be curious.
Yeah.
And I think if you're a youngster or somebody starting out or somebody on your journey and you're perhaps unsure about where your career path is going, be curious about what other people do, because it might send you off down a route that for the next 10 years you should really enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Which is ultimately what it's all about. We spend that long at work, enjoy it, because like I said, I don't think I'd be around it if it wasn't fun. Yeah, exactly.
So let's switch off, and you mentioned cricket, but what do you do outside your day job if you get time?
I'm a taxi driver for my children.
I was going to say, what?
No. It's much of a chat. But no, I've got two young kids, 12 and 4. They've got their birthdays coming up next month. They're 5 days apart. So it's it's an expensive time of the year. Yeah.
And then Christmas following shortly after.
Yeah, don't. So if anyone wants to lend me some money. So there's that. So two kids. My oldest is 12-year-old boy. He's massively into football, cricket.
Right.
Partly because I've kind of moulded him that way.
Yeah, of course.
But no, so he's on his own journey, and he kind of takes up a lot of Saturday mornings and travelling him up and down the motorway.
Of course.
And then my daughter's 4. She's just started school. So my wife and I are heavily engrossed in her development as well, and she's loving it, right? And I want people to be in the office all the time and being around each other, but actually it's super important to have some form of balance.
Yeah.
And I have it at Yardi, and Yardi are really supportive of individuals and your family and your health and all those kind of areas. So I'm sure many of the businesses are.
I think so, more so now.
Yeah. But no, they keep you busy. Life's great, and it's just I'd like a bit more sleep.
Yes, it does come eventually when they want more sleep. Yeah. You've got quite a big age gap between them, so you've got a way to go. Yeah,
I suppose that's starting again. So the second one's definitely been more testing, and I've definitely got a lot more grey hair. But
any more?
No,
definitely not. No, use enough balance, and you've got one of each. So.
Retired, yeah. I've got the best of both of us.
That's it. Me too. I've got a girl and a boy. So, I mean, obviously, we talk about best bit of advice, and you mentioned, sort of be brave and ask questions and that sort of thing. But what's the best bit of advice that's ever been given to you?
Pick up the phone. Yeah. Ask them. Just pick up the phone, and then probably the one would be, and I get this very regularly from Justin, my boss, and it's really good actually. Is what's driving this conversation? Because sometimes businesses will take you on a beauty parade. Sometimes they think it's a fantastic idea to change software, or they need something to enhance their business. But keep asking those questions and keep reaffirming the answer, because ultimately you won't get a pen on paper unless you get to the bottom of actually what's the real driver here for a business. I think some people in sales will go, this is a fantastic opportunity because it's big. They go, that's a big one, and we managed to engage in a conversation. But you can have thousands of those conversations. They might not go anywhere. But if you just the qualification piece, and keep doing that throughout a sales cycle, and that gets you further. And Justin would laugh if he heard that right now.
Well, he will hear it.
So, and he's constantly on to me about things like that. So it's a super good bit of advice. And like I say, picking up the phone goes to you. That doesn't go anywhere for me. So.
I'm guilty of that. Yeah. Some people respond to it, some don't. So if they don't, then pick up the phone.
Today's been education then. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been great to have you on the show, Paul, and thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure to watch your journey over the years.
Yeah.
I hate to say we're moving into decades, I think.
Yeah. Let's whisper that.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me.
It's been great. And that's the end of today's episode. So do reach out to Paul if you have any questions that and anything that he's mentioned today that you need more clarification on. That's including the flex space as well. If you want to know more information about Yardi, do get in touch. But so please like, share, forward on to friends and family, anyone wanting to get into the FM or property world. Until next time, take care.